Hello and welcome to the Feminine Millionaire Show. I'm your host, Polly Alexander. I'm a success coach, healer, creative, and future millionaire. If creating money and success in a spiritual and feminine and joyful way is your goal, this show is for you. Let's all rise together. Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Feminine Millionaire Show. So I have just come back from a week's holiday, and it was actually a holiday at home. It was a staycation, and I'll explain why it was. And what I'm going to open up today is some of the limiting beliefs and patterns that come up around holiday, rest, and taking time off. Because there's one thing that I've seen in my community of high achieving, successful women, that it can be hard to truly relax. It can be hard to take time off to rest without feeling guilty. And I've actually seen this is one of the biggest issues with these high achieving, smart, capable women I work with, that they find it hard to take time off, relax and rest. Or if they do, they feel guilty, or they can end up filling that time with productive activity. I'm smiling because I know this pattern so well. It used to be my pattern and it still comes up occasionally. The next layer comes up for healing. There was one point a few years back where I used to find that holidays came with so much unexpected drama or challenge that I decided it just wasn't worth it. And I was actually loving my business at the time and loving being in my business. So it was a combination of things, but I actually avoided holidays for a while, swapping them for the stability and predictability of everyday life and being in my business. But the truth is, taking a holiday can be one of the most powerful, rejuvenating, joyful, restorative and inspiring decisions you can make that will actually activate the receiving channels for money and abundance and restore your body, mind, and spirit. So this year I have been away traveling abroad every month in January, February, and March. And I actually didn't have a great desire to travel in April, but I do try to take a break every 3 months to rest and restore my energy. The way that I operate is more of a 100-meter sprint than a marathon runner. And so I will go full on, put all my energy into a project, and then I need to stop completely and rest and restore. So my go-to staycation location, my favorite hotel, I tried that and it was fully booked for the week I was taking off. And it turns out somebody had done an exclusive hire. I thought about going abroad, but it just felt like a little bit of a chore with the flights, the travel, the packing, the unpredictability of the hotels, the transfers, the cars, the expense. And I knew in my heart that I desired ease. I desired ease and physical rest. And there was also some life admin and home admin I wanted to catch up on. And it was my genuine desire to have some spaciousness to up-level my home. And the final straw was the universe decided to deliver the third flood from a neighbour into my home, which was ongoing as I started my holiday week. And it was not a good idea to leave the property unattended. I needed to monitor the water damage as it was happening. So that was just the universe affirming my decision to stay home. Now, I wasn't disappointed in any way. In fact, I was quite excited. I got to have a whole 9 days off And I didn't even have to pack. I didn't even have to go anywhere. It doesn't get more relaxing than that. Last summer, you might remember if you're a long-time listener, I went to the Greek islands on holiday and I had a wonderful time and it was fantastic. And when I came home, my back locked up and I ended up having to stay home for the second week of my holiday. And actually, it was really nourishing. Turns out lying around all day watching Netflix and not having anything to do can actually be quite nourishing if you're a high achiever, productivity addict, and always busy. And so this is in my cells now, how nourishing it can be just to do nothing and just live moment to moment without any expectations. So I decided to take time off, but I always find it's a bit of a transition going from being very focused and delivering at a high level and being in your business to then unwinding on holiday. I do always find it takes several days to shift the energy and the pace. And as my holiday began, I could feel resistance coming up. I kept thinking of work things to do, work things I hadn't done, work things that I wanted to do. We're just so schooled in productivity and achieving. And my intuitive teachers and mentors say I'm like a hummingbird. I'm always doing things, I'm always buzzing. But I stayed present with this shift in rhythm and I stayed with what was coming up. And I leaned into that discomfort. And I leaned in and made space for those feelings that were coming up. And it led me to a really interesting place. So I downloaded some beliefs to test. And if you know how to do this and you've already been in my community or my courses, then you'll know how to test along with me. And I could kind of feel this, how should we call it? Almost like discomfort coming up around letting go and relaxing and doing nothing. And the beliefs that came up for me were taking rest is wrong. I'm not allowed to rest. It's not safe to relax. I'll be punished if I stop. Everything will fall apart if I stop. It's bad to stop. And then, and these are definitely not my beliefs, holidays are wasteful. Holidays are dangerous. And so I leaned into intuitively, what's this work ethic that's coming through? And I have to earn a break. I have to deserve it. And I must work non-stop in order to survive. So I'm going to share where some of these came from. Now, of course, we can always just make the decision to say, nope, I'm going to be intentional. This is what my holiday's about. But I have found if we bypass the deeper story, if we bypass the understanding of how we got to this place, of how we started operating with this identity, if we bypass the understanding, then we're just papering over the cracks. So I always like to be available for that deeper dive. I like to understand. I'm that child that always asks, but why? But why do I feel like this? But why am I thinking and believing this? So the first place we're going to go to is fear. Deep hardwired in all of our nervous systems is the fear of survival. It's primal, it's ancient. It's when we lived in caves and we had to bite to survive. We had to hunt to survive. It's hardwired in us as a fight or flight mechanism. And deeply wired in my nervous system was this program just to keep going to avoid falling into pain and danger. So just knowing that this survival instinct can kick in is so powerful. It's extremely common. This comes up a lot, I see with my clients. The feeling, the deep-seated anxiety that everything will fall apart if I stop, if I'm not in the business. So this is really about calibrating your nervous system and connecting to a deep source of safety. So the next place that I went to was my own past. I went to a high achieving school for academically gifted children. And there was a very strong work ethic and the feeling that you have to do well. You were only praised if you got an A in everything. If you didn't get a straight A in everything, your name wasn't read out. And that's a true story. And so there was this internalized pressure from family, from society, from school, like, I've got to do well, I've got to achieve. My freedom depends on my performance. My survival depends on my performance, and my safety depends on my performance. And there was this link between safety and hard work. This is so common as well in the people I work with. So no wonder I didn't want to stop, because my subconscious belief system was saying, but to be free, to be safe, and to survive, you've got to work hard. Holidays are not about working hard. That's the antithesis of what the operating system was running, the program the operating system was running. So I'm going to share another piece that came out from childhood. And remember, when you're working with something like this, you can also do reflection in your journal and use your own intuition to see what's present for you. So another pattern that came through for me was in childhood. And I have clear memories of my parents having a huge argument when I was around 11 years old, and my mum saying, I'm never going on holiday again. And she didn't, and we didn't. So there were no more holidays after that. So holidays were associated with drama and pain and arguments. Okay, ancestrally, let's go there next. So I picked up on a pattern which I'm already very familiar with on my father's side. And this is like a deep working class, we work to survive kind of pattern. You know, I'm scared to stop because of fear of survival. This is very, very, very common. And I also picked up this same work ethic in my father. This doing in order to be safe, in order to survive, in order to keep your secure job. Actually picked up a little bit of fear of losing his job if he stopped. And then, if we think about holidays, it's all about receiving. It's all about allowing in the good, believing we're worthy and deserving of rest and peace and delightful experiences and pleasure and joy. And when I tuned into my own worthiness of this, and bearing in mind I've done this work for a long time now, I still picked up a piece from my mother around feeling guilty, around stopping, resting, and receiving more. She was always busy, she was always doing something, she was very dutiful. And I always remember her saying how guilty she felt when she spent money on herself. So I picked up some threads of that still running in me. So I hope this has been interesting for you. Maybe you resonate with one of the patterns that I shared today. Maybe one of these stories is your story. Maybe you've also experienced some fear or some guilt or some discomfort around taking time off, especially if you're an entrepreneur. Because when we're an entrepreneur, we are single-handedly generating our own revenue and income. It's not like a job where you get paid holiday. It's not like a job where you go back and your job's still there, ticking over, waiting for you. So it's natural that reprogramming our minds and our belief systems in this area is part of the entrepreneurial journey. So I hope today's episode has been powerful for you and thought-provoking. And I intend that you open up to the joy of receiving rest and relaxation. I am very excited to share something with you I've never done before, and I've only got one of them. It's called the Ultimate Up Level, and it's an incredible year-long container of support with me. It's my highest level of support. It includes 12 months of one-to-one private success coaching and healing. It includes exclusive in-person VIP days, Voxer access every day to me for support between sessions, and a lot more. What could be possible with this new level of support? Well, maybe you'd start a whole new business and win second prize and $60,000 in the Uber Girl Boss Awards, as my client Biljana did. Perhaps you'd clear decades of old limiting program and create a life with more freedom and pleasure, as well as birthing a new tech startup valued at 7 to 8 figures, as another of my clients did. Or maybe you'd overcome your fears so you can birth a new life vision, move to a new location in the world and start a magical new life, as my client Yulia did when she left her day job in London as a teacher, moved to Spain and began a new journey as a painter, winning awards, being her authentic self. If this calls you, I invite you to book a discovery call. Let me know you're interested in the Ultimate Up Level, and we'll explore what that could look like for you. You're also welcome to DM me on Instagram if you would like to find out more before you book a call. Have a wildly abundant week and open up to more and more joy and abundance. See you again next week.